Are we live?
Yes, I believe we are. How you doing,
All
Zach?
right. Good, Jan. We apologize to folks about some technical difficulties.
They were totally my fault. Seth is
No,
exemplary.
we got it going now. Looks like it's on your Facebook page too, so we should be all set.
Yeah. Yes. So I had said that we were like opening a time capsule, like a Bluegrass time capsule,
Yeah, I think you're right, because a lot of this stuff's probably not been heard since 1971.
Yeah.
So you're looking at almost 50 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what is the setting for this event?
Okay, so just referring to the notes made by whoever recorded this, it says Bill Monroe's Lone Star Festival. It says McKinney, Texas, but the flyer, which I'm going to share on my screen, says Garland, Texas. So and I've heard it was somewhere in between McKinney and Garland, so somewhere in that part of Texas, not too far from Dallas, I think.
Yeah.
And it says this was recorded on Sunday, September the 5th, 1971. So this closed out this festival, Bill Monroe's first festival in Texas.
Do you know how many he did?
I know I've got recordings up to 1975 at that particular festival, but it may have gone past then. I don't know.
Very, very exciting. So, well, let's just get this show on the road.
Without further ado.
Yeah. So, little time travel here, back to 1971, September 5th, between McKinney and Garland, Texas.
That's right.
I bet it was still hot in September, early September. You better believe it was hot.
Now I'm having technical difficulties.
Yeah. So who is coming? Who is the opening one? I can pull up some pictures, maybe.
It's going to be Don Reno and Red Smiley with Bill Harrell.
Okay. Well,
that was on my end.
We're pretty slick here. There's a lot of. Corey Warren has sent us a very alarming message here.
What's he told us, Jan?
He said Bluegrass died in 1954.
Oh, we got one of those hardcore guys.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Wow.
If you, yeah.
Okay, I believe I've got it going now. Here we go.
I'll go down to the river and slowly walk around. And if my tongue don't change a lot, I'll jump right in and drown. One after what you've done to me, I know I've grown to be. The life is not the top of the town. Thank you very kindly. I don't know when I've enjoyed myself as much as I have out here in Texas for the last 2 or 3 days. And once again, we'd like to say thanks to all of you that's come out to be with us over the weekend and you folks that have chosen to stay around with us today. All the cut-ups are ready and raring to go. Couldn't eat that. Getting worse than Mike Wiseman. I can't get to the microphone no more. Somebody said put up a front, and I think I exaggerated a little bit.
You sure did. Last time they operated on your appendix, they didn't know whether to operate or blast on it.
Well, always a smart aleck, never crowd. All the cut-ups are on hand. Jerry McCurry on bass, Buck Ryan on fiddle. Mother Harold and Red Smiley on the two guitars. My buddy and partners, and yours truly, Don Reno, still on the 5-string. We'd like to get everybody's toes to tapping by calling on Buck Ryan. He spent about 10 years of his career with Jimmy Dean and the Texas Wildcats. And a lot of you folks have come up and told me you used to see Buck while he was on the show. Here's a number he does quite well. Buck Ryan and his version of the Black Mountain Rag.
Thank you so much. As Don said, we've had such a wonderful time down here in Texas. I don't think we'll go back for a couple of weeks. Not a couple. It'll take us that long to get back, of course, with you driving especially, Bill. That's right. We have had a wonderful time, and we do hate to leave Texas. But we're going to come back, and we can spend a lot more time, we hope, with you nice folks here in Texas. Of course, I've had a real wonderful time because I do have a lot of sisters down here, and they're fine husbands, and they're all their children. They're here with us today, and we've had a real ball having them with us, and we hope that they're going to kind of convert some of them to bluegrass. They don't really know a whole lot about it. Some of them don't. I'll have to tell you that. But and I know they do, but I'm converting my outfit. I mean, that's what I mean. Trying to convert most of them.
I believe they converted you before you did them, Red, back years ago.
Yeah, my oldest sister bought me. She's here with me. She bought me the first guitar for $3.
Looking pretty bad now.
Looking pretty. Yeah. I need another, Margie. You better go out and get it.
I'll tell you, back in 1890, that was a lot of money.
1890 it was. It was a lot of money. Well, we'll disperse with that right now. We're going to have Bill Harold sing a song. This song was written, and it was started in June, wasn't it? The fellow didn't have time to finish it in June.
Well, it didn't rhyme right.
It didn't rhyme right, so he finished it out in May, and he called it One Morning in May. Is that right? Okay. Bill Harold.
One morning in May, I spied a young couple making their way. One was a maiden, so fair and so dear. The other was a soldier, a brave volunteer. Good morning, good morning, good morning to thee. Oh, where are you going, my pretty lady? I am going to the banks of the sea just to see the water sliding, hear the nightingale sing. They hadn't been standing but a minute or two when out of his knapsack a fiddle he drew, and the tune that he played made the valleys all ring. Oh, see the water sliding, hear the nightingale sing. Soldier, pretty soldier, play one tune more. Oh no, pretty lady, I have to be going. Oh, I'd rather hear your fiddle or the touch of one string than to see the water sliding, hear the nightingale sing. Soldier, pretty soldier, will you marry me? Oh no, pretty lady, that never can be. For I'm a wife in old London, children past 3, and I'm in the army. That's too many for me. So I'll go back to old London for a while there to stay. I'll think of you often, my pretty lady. And when I return, it will be in the spring, just to see the water sliding, hear the nightingale sing. Thank you very much. I certainly appreciate that. I'd like to do that especially for Johnny, who works with Lester Flatt. And well, if we do Barbara Allen, that'll finish the show, won't it?
In June, I guess it took the man till next May to finish that.
And also, I'd like to do it for my good friend Buck Graves, too. He likes that song. He's got a real good one we hope to record. Buck Graves, right. Let's turn things back over with some 5-string banjo picking, one of the numbers that I think you were thinking about my mother-in-law when you wrote it. It's entitled 5 by 8.
We couldn't get by without letting our little bass player sing a song for you here on the program because he does have a real good voice. We think he does. Some of these days it's going to change and sound like a man, but right now, no, just kidding, Jerry. Jerry McCurry's his name, and if you got,
you know what he told me though?
No, I don't.
He asked me this morning. He said, "What do you think a 500-pound canary sounds like?" And I said, "I don't know." He said, "Chirp."
Sure. Here's Jerry McCurry singing Some Old Day.
I've been working out in the rain, tied to a dirty old ball and chain. Oh, dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Some sweet day they'll turn me loose from this dirty old calaboose. Oh, dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Some old day, you wait for me and pray. Oh, dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Some sweet day they'll turn me loose from this dirty old calaboose. Oh, dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Oh, dear mother, I've hurt you so. I've been cruel to you, I know. Oh, dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Tell my brother, my sister, and dad, tell the dear friends that I've had. Oh, dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Some old day, you wait for me and pray. Oh, dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Tell my brother, my sister, and dad, tell the dear friends that I've had. Oh, dear mother, I'll come home some old day. You wait for me and pray. Oh, dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Tell my brother, my sister, and dad, tell the dear friends that I've had. Oh, dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Jerry McCurry. That's a fine boy right there. A lot of you folks have done found that out since we've been down here, because he gets out of a night and gets in a lot of jam sessions that's going on. And if you want to call him Rojo, that's what we call him most of the time. But he's a wonderful little man, and we're proud to have him with us. To know him is to like him, I'll guarantee you that. We're trying to answer a lot of requests here on this show this afternoon. Number that'll be out on a new album. Should have done it been out last March, but they're a little bit late in getting it out. But it was supposed to be released. I don't know whether it'll release. It might escape. I don't know. But here's one of the numbers on it. One of our older numbers we used the trio on this time and redone using Bill Harrell called Emotions. We hope you like it.
you find it, keep wondering if someday, somehow, I might lose you. Emotion, I make it belong for your kiss. I'm safe in your arms, I know heaven is emotions in my heart are calling for you. If you confess, I bet you have emotions too. Emotions can bring much sorrow and pain. Emotions can be like the sun, shine after rain. Emotions are charged with the power of faith. These same emotions make you laugh or make you hate. Emotion, I make it belong for your kiss. But safe in your arms, I know heaven is bliss. Emotion in my heart are calling for you. If you confess, I'll bet you have emotion too.
Thank you very much. I script about every gear I use on that one, on that emotion. Hurts my jaw. We'd like to do a song right now for you we did last night that folks seem to really enjoy. It's a number that Don, I think, wrote about his first mother-in-law. Barefoot Nellie. Get out of there. There you got it.
Red-headed big was sitting on a limb. Mom said she could but tell Johnny and a ring and egg and a big thing clean out of money that you can have ever seen. Oh, laughing, laughing, now you remember me. Now be rolled right on the back. Laughing, laughing, laughing. One. Two. Down the hill he went to town one day, riding for a load of hay. Sold a man a script and Mars and night, she's just sitting behind the bar. Laughing, ho, laughing, hey, laughing, and you want for me. Down there it's got a pair of shoes, she can wear them if you choose. Why the heck she hot the blazer wants to wear size 42. Oh, hey, laughing, and you want for me.
Thank you. We're going to kind of slow down a little bit. We did this number yesterday, I think, but we promised some folks that we'd certainly try to get it back on for them again today. Seems like it hits a lot of us here lately, especially Don and myself. Where did our young years go?
And then some.
My eyes are getting weaker, my walk's getting slow, and the gray in my hair is beginning to show. My life has been rich, though I've always been poor. My years pass so quickly, where did our young years go? There's something between us, so few understand. You make me your king, though I'm a plain working man. I know that I've been, I've left our love aglow, but where, oh, where did our young years go? Her face may be wrinkled, her dress may be worn, her lips are still tender, thrilling and warm. Each day of life, our love seems to grow, but where, oh, where did our young years go? There's something between us, so few understand. You make me your king, though I'm a plain working man. I've left our love aglow, but where, oh, where did our young years grow?
Thank you very much. We've had so many requests for banjo numbers, I don't know what to do. I did promise Rachel, your sister, I'd do Cripple Creek sometime last night, and I failed to do that. So better do that for her, because she certainly did feed me a good supper and breakfast and dinner and supper. How many days we studying, Rachel? So for all the rest of you folks, and especially for you, Rachel, we'll do Cripple Creek. Okay? Thank you very kindly.
Thank you very much. All right. All right, we'll put Don on the guitar. Had some requests for that. Before we do that, I would like to invite you folks, if any of you are late and didn't have one of our albums, or the line forms right over there, they're absolutely free. I told you that once before, and a lot of people have already taken up on it. All you have to pay is the tax, $4 tax. It's right over there at the bus. We have a lot of albums. Buck Ryan's got a brand new album. I can't tell you one thing.
We have got to do 2 more numbers. I promised somebody I'd do some flat top guitar picking, and somebody would do. He would set your fields on fire. We might as well do both of them right fast.
Right. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm not gonna tell you nothing. Here's the number we're gonna do right now.
Jesus called, if you desire, we're on fire. You have heard his voice, rejoice and trusted in his praise. Goodness wishes, had he not been it, but still you had your faith. For the blessed Lord, let it go through where the his favorite fire. Deep down where it's left him not his wrath, are you set for being on fire? I'm a sin retired, let the work good one set you on fire. Jesus come, it's on the phone. If you desire, Lord, I have a fire and joy. And this way on fire.
Thank you. Thank you. Don't get nervous. I'm not going to play. I'm just going to hold it for Don while he picks a little picking here on the old flat top. Someone wanted to hear one of the breakdowns played on the guitar. And this is the first instrument Don learned to play a guitar, not the one he's got. This is the one I got for $3 here. But he did learn to play the guitar before he played the banjo. And he learned to tune the guitar. I never did, so he's tuned it.
I've just been fooling you all these years, Red.
Here's Don to play the Gray Eagle hornpipe.
Well, Seth, that
What'd
was
you think about Jan?
I'm just stunned by how good Buck Ryan played.
I know.
mean,
And I tell you what even stunned me. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people are familiar with, later recordings, but this, and he was in bad health, and everything. But back here, man, it's just, I don't know. It's just shocking how good it was.
I tell you what, too, that's some of the best banjo and guitar playing I've heard from Don Reno, especially that last song he played on guitar. That was unreal.
Yeah, Gray Eagle, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic flat picking. That's where Don got a lot of his banjo stuff from. He transferred it over from the guitar and vice versa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very, very interesting. And you know what? A really pretty strong band, you can say. With Jerry McCurry there and Bill Harrell.
Yeah, man.
I mean, they have some good singers. Don and is a fine tenor, and then Red, of course, and Harold too. The piece Harold did his feature number there. One Morning in May. That I never heard it played as a waltz before.
Yeah, that was interesting. I tell you what, too, Jerry McCurry surprised me with that Some Old Day. That was some good lead singing on the day.
Yeah, and Harold too. I maybe he doesn't get as much recognition as he should, but I think he's a very expressive singer, and it's not the Jimmy Martin kind of in your face type of lead singing, but it's still good, and
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, if you're ready to move onward, we'll play the next band, which is Lester Flatt and the Nashville Grass.
Okay, that's gonna be so. Let's see now. Who was playing here at the time in 1971? Was McCormick on banjo, or?
Yeah, I've got the list here, so let me see who's going to be on this. So, you got Paul Warren on the fiddle.
Okay.
Haskell McCormick on the banjo. Got Roland White on the mandolin.
Oh yeah.
Got Johnny Johansson. I believe he was playing bass.
Mm-hmm.
And Josh Graves on the dobro.
So this is only about 2 years after the Flatt and Scruggs split up.
Yeah, if I'm thinking correctly, they split in 1969. I've got their last show at the Opry somewhere, and it's got a date on it, and I think it's 1969.
Yeah, I think so.
So, but anyways, if we're ready.
Mike Bubb is asking here, was that Jerry McCurry on the bass? And that is correct.
Yeah, that's correct. That was Jerry McCurry on that last set.
Yeah, and we have several friends here. Inaba-san from Japan and Vivian Hopkins, Lori Lynn Hunter, and Corey Warren. Yeah, we're gonna have to talk to Corey a little bit.
Yeah, we got to straighten it out.
Yeah. Well, I don't disagree with him, but we can always discuss it in the special forum.
Yeah, we might have a round table on that.
Yeah. So yes.
Well, if you're ready, let's hear some Lester Flatt and the Nashville Grass.
Yeah.
All right. I'm cutting my mic off and going back to the audio, so we'll see you guys on the other side.
Boy, can't those boys do something on them instruments? Man, the grass they pick is just kind of like turnip greens. It just calls for more of it. Next group, we have coming out on stage. We ask all the people that has tape recorders to please turn them off. These boys' contract will not permit any tape recording of any kind, and we ask you please, as a favor to these boys, to turn your tape recorders off. Their contract won't allow any taping. But right now, we're both looking through the same keyhole now because she likes them awful well too. But this group is one of the greatest groups in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would, make welcome Lester Flatt and the Nashville Grass. All right.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. Let us say a special great big howdy to you, and we hope you're ready to enjoy some songs and tunes we got lined up for you. First, let us take just a minute to kind of point out the fellas to you in case you never had a chance to meet them. Fellow on the left-hand side, I'm sure you'll agree with me after you watch him do a little picking here. He does a great job. The old Hulk, Haskell McCormick. How about a nice hand for Hack, huh? And the one back here with the little mandolin, if you notice, he's sawed off a little bit up around the opera. We call him the Bill Monroe after taxes, you know. We're real proud of him. Roland Chi White. Nice hand for Roland. I know you'll recognize some of the old antiques over on this side. I know you're going to enjoy Mr. Johnny Johansson. Nice hand for Johnny, huh? One with the little fiddle. We still think he's one of the best old-time fiddlers in the business. Fine young one. Fiddling Paul Warner. How about a nice hand for Paul? This one here with the old hound dog. He's got several requests. He's going to try to answer as many of them as he possibly can. He always thinks that's a pump handle when he gets a hold of it, you know, but he don't have to pick and sing like we do to make a living. His mom and papa's both well off, and we found out yesterday he's a little bit off himself. Uncle Josh, nice hand.
I'd like to introduce to you the man doing the talking here for the Nashville Grass. Fine fella, a wonderful singer. Let's make welcome our boss man, Mr. Lester Flatt, of course. How about
I go come round on my from country to true. I want you to understand when I return. Just keep on living, baby. When I return, all right, thank you very much. Uncle Josh now and the old hound dog to do a special request for you. It's called the Flatland Two-Step. All right, fine, Uncle Josh. We hope the folks requested that one enjoyed it. We also had some requests to repeat one we did yesterday from mine and Mac Wiseman's RCA Victor album. So if you'll be Mac, we'll try to do it. The bluebirds sing in the blue ridge mountain, calling me back to my home. Oh, I can hear bluebirds calling me back to my was a girl I loved so dear. She lived away in the hills. The birds sing, I miss my daughter. Love me, I know, and she always will. There's the bird singing in the blue mountain, calling me back to my home. Oh, I can hear the birds calling me back to my home. Sing me one little legal lady. Tonight I'm afar from the Blue Ridge Mountain, far from my home, back in the hills, but I'm going back to the Blue Ridge Mountain. Those memories, they haunt me still. The Perhaps you better sing it in a blues mountain. Call me back now. Oh, I can get it. Bluegrass calling, call me back now. Thank you. Thank you so much. We'd like to do that especially for Mr. Corn Williams and Jimmy, his grandson he has along with him. A fellow that's been sponsoring our show for the good Martha White for about 18 years. We was having a picture made over there a while ago, and he was standing beside of me, and he asked the man if it's all right if he could put his hand in my pocket. He said that I'd had my hand in his pocket for about 18 years. So.
He got the tip.
What'd you say?
He got the tip.
Here's Haskell now to do a little number for you called the McCormick String Picnic. On the great Atlantic Ocean to the wide Pacific blue, between old Moline Mountain mighty tall and handsome, and no black will buckle. She's a combination of now she came down from Birmingham one morning to the station, right together, Tennessee. She long and she came down from Birmingham. where the rippling waters flow. No changes can be taken on the Wabash Cattle. You know, we never do this number. We don't think about our good buddy. You're doing good. As I was saying, we never do this number. We don't think about our good buddy, Mr. Roy Acuff up at the Grand Ole Opry. You know, he made this one famous a long time ago. Any of you folks ever seen Roy do this number? I'm sure some of you have. If you ever noticed, when he gets to sounding real good to him, he'll roll way back, put his hand over his ear and sound just a little bit like this. I tell you, let me hear you one more time, Brother Oswald. That last note sounded more like Cousin Jody to me than it did. Now listen to the jingle of the lantern blue. Rides along the woodland to the field and fox. Hear the mighty rush of the engine head of the bulldogs strong. Traveling through the jungle on the Wabash Cannondale. Thank you so much. One of the greatest, your good buddy, Mr. Roy Acuff.
Thank you.
Paul wanted to do a request number on the fiddle. I don't believe anybody's going to play this one either, Paul. He does about 30 minutes work and a couple of minutes on this one. It's entitled "Listen to the Mockingbird," Paul.
Okay, if something happened there, I guess that was the.
Hey, Jan, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
So that was the end of that side of the tape. So we got to do a tape change real quick.
Good. Well, I am trying here to connect with Mike Bob, one of the Bluegrass insiders and one of the top bass players in the world.
Yes, sir. Wonderful bass player.
Sir. You know, he is about as stout as they come.
Well, I'm getting this tape geared up here. We're almost rigged back up. Changing tape takes a little bit of time. It's not like changing a CD.
Yeah. No, there was a different tempo back in the day.
I like it.
Yeah. Again, there's really some good playing there by, well, I thought Paul Warren sounded good, you know.
Yeah, the whole band really. I tell you what, it surprised me so much when the MC came on and said no recording.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. Yeah.
I'm like Mike Bubb. I believe he hid the recorder under the chair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, well, I've got this thing rigged back up and ready to go, but I don't know if you're trying to bring Mike on to say a few words.
Yeah, but if I can manage the technology here, I'm going to make a very serious attempt. So I'll be busy with that. You tell me what's coming up now, Seth.
So we're still with Lester Flatt and the Nashville Grass. They've got about 5 more songs on their set list.
Mm-hmm.
And then next comes the Stone Mountain Boys. I told you I didn't know anything about them, but you know about that band.
Yeah, I got a couple of their albums. They're from out there in, is it Oklahoma, or Byron Berlin recorded and was a band member early on there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good band. Mitch Land is the mandolin player, and
That's awesome. Well, you try to get Mike on and let me know when you do, and we're going to hear some more from Lester Flatt. The Stone Mountain Boys don't do but a few songs, and then we've got the grand finale with Bill Monroe and the Bluegrass Boys featuring Kenny Baker on the fiddle.
oh yeah, that would be great. That would be great. Okay, so here is, I see some signs from Mike Bubb here. Yes, there he is. We're going to add him to the stream.
Okay.
Mike Bubb, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. It's good to see you, my man.
Long time listener, first time caller.
Yes. So what's happening in Nashville? Are you?
Not much. I've just been working on my house here and laying low like everybody else. I actually got a haircut yesterday. That was pretty exciting.
You're looking good, man.
We kind of opened up Tennessee,
Okay.
this week. So things are kind of, inching back to normal. If we just could get our gigs back, we'd be all right. But I'm pretty much canceled through most of July now. So
wow.
So, Mike, you probably you know some of these people that we just listening to.
Yeah.
And well, of course you knew Josh Graves and.
Yeah, I made a couple records with Josh. Actually.
Yeah.
With Curly Sackler and Benny Martin.
Yeah. You're around all the legends,
Got here just in the nick of time.
Yeah.
And then they all disappeared.
Yeah. There was they would go record with Hugh Moore and then they would die shortly after that.
Yeah. Well, Hugh was a blessing to a lot of those guys because especially Benny. Benny was just he didn't have a lot of money and coming in, and he had a lot of health problems, and Hugh just swooped in there and really helped him out and did all he could for him, and he made those 2 records, and it was fantastic. We also made a couple records with Chubby Wise here too.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah. So Haskell McCormick, he's still around then?
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's one of the last ones left of the McCormick brothers. There's another brother named Gerald, and but Kelly was the mandolin player. He's passed away, but a couple months ago, Haskell came down Station Inn and sat in with Roland, and it's funny because back then he had that haircut. It was kind of like a what do they call it? It's like Sonny and Cher haircut.
Something like yeah.
What do they have a name for it?
Yeah.
Anyway, he had that kind of shoulder length hair. He doesn't have that anymore. You wouldn't recognize. He doesn't look like any of those old pictures. He used to look like he was real tall and lanky.
Yeah.
And now he doesn't really look like that at all. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But a wonderful guy, really nice guy. Those guys started up here close to where I live, and I live in Hendersonville, north of Nashville, and they were from Gallatin.
Okay.
And the McCormick brothers were on Dot Records, and they were they had their own radio show out of Gallatin.
Okay.
And but I think they gave up the music business as they got older and they went into other professions.
Probably a good idea. But yeah, so you recorded with Benny Martin on those albums. Hugh did, or?
Yeah, I played on both those records.
Oh yeah. Well, I think Hugh treated. I mean, he was just a superstar, and Hugh just loved loves the whole era with Flat and Scruggs, and
yeah,
and, with Benny, and that's of course my favorite. The lineup of the band is like the 1953.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize how little Benny cut with them. He only cut about 12 sides, maybe, with Flat and Scruggs. But there's a lot of stuff that's kind of based around his style of playing. But
yeah, I mean, every break really counts. I mean, every break is sort of epic. Everybody who's ever played bluegrass fiddle has tried to take on those breaks.
Yeah, that's the bar. That's the template.
Yeah.
Sonny Osborne told me that, he said when I'll Go Steppin' 2 came out, he said nobody had ever heard fiddle playing like that before anywhere.
Oh man, that's so good.
You were talking about those 1953 recordings, John. I really like his kickoff on Lover's Lane, man. What a stout fiddle kickoff.
Mm-hmm. The only problem with that song is it's too short.
Too short, yeah. 50-some seconds, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only songs I can remember. One verse and one chorus.
Yeah.
Me too.
That's So let's see if we go back to the old timers there around Nashville. Baker is going to be later on this tape with Monroe, and you knew Baker pretty good too, Mike, I'm sure.
Yeah. I used to play shows with Kenny and Josh.
Mm-hmm.
We did some things here in town, and of course I'd see him quite a bit. But
yeah.
The funny thing about Kenny Baker was he always intimidated me. I never knew him until I moved to Nashville, but he always just looked very serious to me all the time, and a very sort of I don't know. And he was funny. He was the funniest guy. He had the greatest personality. And when you got to know him, it's like all that fear went away. It was like, oh, he's not like that at all.
Yeah, but I don't know. I played some with the two of them, and they would never tell you what the opening number was going to be like.
No.
It'll be like, backstage, and your band they're getting announced, and then, what we're going to do? You have a freaking out. I would think of something, and all the time, Baker would go up to the stage and just chop that chord, twice, and that's it. Like Monroe chopped the mandolin, you
had to be on your toes.
Yeah.
But back then those guys, they had a system, and if you're around them enough, that they would, there's certain keys that they played everything in. They loved like D or C or whatever, and then you would just know that's probably where they're going to start, or whatever the last thing you just played with them, they're going to start the show with that.
Yeah.
Of course, they'd always do the stuff that they were known for.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Sweet Bunch of Daisies. Get a good one in B flat while you're there, and then. They used to have these gigs here in Nashville called trust fund gigs through the Musicians Union. Mm-hmm. And it was a fund that they would match funds for retirement homes. And then the retirement homes could have an artist or, bring music for a concert at their place. Mm-hmm. And so they would dole these out a lot to bluegrass musicians because they didn't require a PA system. They could just go in there and play, acoustically.
Yeah.
And I just remember playing with Josh and Kenny at a couple of those things. And you had to play for 60 minutes. That's all you had to do, just play for an hour. And it paid like $100. So anybody would take these things, because it's $100 for an hour. And so I did one with Kenny. And I just remember Josh, like after every song, checking his watch. The very first song, he checked his watch.
That's like having a student to start watching his watch every
Right.
The bad sign.
Yeah. One time, Jimmy Campbell, fiddle player, he got one of those trust fund jobs, and he said, I think I'm going to call Bill Monroe to play it with us. And I said, you should. He'd probably love to. And so Bill ended up doing it. It was a retirement home up above his office, not far from his office, and Bill was the first one there, and he was wheeling all these people in there in their wheelchairs and stuff. And, he was their contemporary, really. He was 79, 80 years old at that time.
Right.
So he, these people he was like a superstar to these people.
Yeah.
And so we set up a microphone, and we made a tape of it. It's me and Larry Perkins and Jimmy Campbell, and I can't remember who played the guitar, maybe Terry Eldridge. And anyway, we set up a microphone and just plugged it into a tape recorder. But Bill, we didn't have a PA system. He just talked into the microphone like he was on a PA system. And he just took over, and he just put on a show for these people.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. And, he was always writing tunes, and he would always name a tune or his latest piece for wherever he was at or whatever.
Yeah.
And he says, I'm going to play a number. And he said, I wrote this for y'all today. It's called Playing for the Old Folks. And, here he was, an old folk himself.
Yeah. That's awesome, though.
I should get you a tape of that sometime. You'd like to have that.
Oh, I would love to. Yes. Yeah, you mentioned Gene Wooten here.
Yeah. Well, when I heard that Josh solo on that Bluebird singing, it was just reminding me so much of Gene. Golly.
Yeah. He was from near where I live, or relatively near, up there in north of Raleigh. So.
Yeah, he's buried in Cameron, which is over sort of between there and Pinehurst.
Yeah. I didn't know Cameron. No. My
it's
wife.
A little crossroads.
Yeah.
Crossroads in the middle of the state.
My wife is from down that area, so Moore County. Yes. So
yeah, he's got there's a family plot there at a little church in Cameron. It's the only church there. And if you were to drive into that parking lot of the church, there's nothing there in Cameron. It's just like a gas station or something in a church. It's a very small community.
Yeah.
And I don't know how he ended up or why he ended up there, but when I went to see his gravesite a couple of years ago, there's a whole family plot there. So, but if you just go back down behind that church on that road there, you can't miss it. It's on the left-hand side. He's right there by the road.
Yeah.
And what a wonderful guy. He passed away at 49.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
How long has it been?
He was a young guy. I think it's been since 2002.
Yeah.
I want to say.
What year did you get to Nashville?
I came here in 1989. I came with a band, Weary Hearts.
Yeah.
And we made it about 2 years before we started to splinter off and fracture off, And
a good band.
Yeah, we did some good things. We had we made a pretty good stab at it there for about 5 years and got us here to Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
But as when you're young and you're in your first bluegrass band, everything people's lives change a lot, and it just affects everything. And then after a while, you've got all new people, and you go, "Wow, this isn't really the band that we had before. We should just call it something else."
Yeah.
And so we kind of got to that point.
Maybe some of the younger people don't know about Weary Hearts, but of course, our age people, we're quite familiar with them. That you were an impressive force out there. But maybe just tell the people who was in the band.
Well, the original band was started by a fellow named Eric Uglum. He's a guitar player, and Ron Block, who plays with Alison Krauss, and myself. And we kind of toured around as a trio for a while. We would go and enter band contests and instrument contests a lot. And then we ended up playing in a band contest out in Arizona. And we had Butch Baldessari play mandolin with us, and we won the contest. And from there, we decided, hey, we can do this, So we started booking festivals and started trying to get gigs and be a band, And then after a couple of years, we made some changes in the band and brought in Chris Jones to sing, and I had seen him in a band called Whetstone Run, which was with Marshall Wilburn and Lynn Morris and a guy named Lee Olson, who later on became Keith Case's partner and now is basically the owner of Keith Case's former booking agency.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that kind of changed things for us, and we came to IBMA and we played there, and we did a showcase, and we got a record deal with Flying Fish Records. And then the couple of months later, we came back to Nashville and we won the Spigma band contest. And then the week after that, we went in and made our record. And then, you know, within a year, we had moved to Nashville and we'd already lost half the band. So, you know, things were moving fast for us. But anyway, it was just kind of, you know, those early days, everybody has a thing that kind of gets them started, and then you kind of find your way, you know. But it was a great experience and a great band. We played a lot of good, you know, shows and that kind of thing. We're kind of contemporaries of Alison Krauss, and at the time Dusty Miller was the band that eventually morphed into Alison's band with Adam Steffi and all those guys were our buddies, and we played shows with them and, you know, hung out with them.
Yeah. So
they're all kind of
your home state,
the 80s.
Yeah. What would you consider your hometown?
I was born in Los Angeles, but I grew up in the Southwest and in Arizona, and I graduated high school in Scottsdale, Arizona. I was there the longest. Seems like after I left California.
Yeah.
So I moved to Nashville from Arizona.
Yeah.
And I've been here for 30 years, going on 31 years.
Well, you know, I could talk to you forever. I guess we need to try to play through this tape. If you want
tape.
If you want to just stay on here and you please feel free to, you know, comment and make comments. So Seth, are you there?
I'm here. Are we ready to go again?
Yeah, let's play some more of the Lester Flatt and
the
Nashville Grass here.
Let me get some audio back on the real player.
I just like how they come out and they just hit it, you know. Here they are, Lester Flatt. You know, no sound check or nothing. You just bang, you know. Of course, they only had about 4 microphones.
I'm going away. I'm leaving today. I'm going away. I'd rather be in sound and calling, where the sun don't ever shine, and to be in some big city, in a small room with you loving on my mind. Oh, blow, blow, blow your whistle, freight train, and me far down the track. I'm going away, I'm leaving today. I'm going and I ain't coming back. Oh.
Thank you very much. We'd like to hang around a couple of sacred numbers that we promised folks
Sacred
that we try to do for them. This is kind of a spiritual number included in our Flat on Victor album. It's entitled Hallelujah, Let the Love Shine.
Hallelujah, let our love shine. Let's all get together, cause it's Christmas in you.
you, brother, by the hand. Help each other understand. Hallelujah. That I love you. Well, let's keep old glory waving, hallelujah, yeah. Forever makes you wave up in the sky. I could keep our country free, and I know you will agree. Together we can make it if we try. And singing, hallelujah, hallelujah. Let's all get together, cross up to the end. Take you brother by the hand, help each other understand. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Let's do something about it, gonna sing it, gonna shout. The good old USA that we're proud of. Well, let's all join together, things will be a whole lot better. All across the land we spread our love and sing hallelujah, hallelujah. Let's all get together, cause it's up to the end. Take you brother by the hand, help each other understand. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Let's all get together, cause it's up to me and you. Take you brother by the hand, help each other understand. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Thank you very much. We'd like to do a number that just a little bit on the sacred side. It's been one of the most requested sacred type numbers that we ever had the pleasure of
Sacred
recording.
type number.
Seems especially that all the mamas and the papas that has sons in the service, they request this one daily on their Martha White shows from WSM over in Nashville. It's a recitation entitled Father's Table Grace. As we sit at the table, our family's heads bowed low. My thoughts return to childhood and the finest man I know. He doesn't speak good English. He's just a simple man. But when he's talking to the Lord, even a little child can understand. I was young and reckless, but the thought still comes to me. When I told my dad I felt I was old enough to leave. He sat there at the table and a look came on his face. And he never spoke another word till he said, the table grace. He said, our gracious Heavenly Father, we all gather here today to give thee thanks for blessings. So humble we pray. My oldest son is leaving. I'm sure he knows what's best. But just in case, would you stand by and help him stand the test? Lord, he's awful neglectful about church on Sunday morning. And if he gets with the wrong crowd, would you let him hold your arm? And if he flies too high, would you clip his wings? But don't let him fall too hard. I'm sure, Lord, you can handle things. I've tried my best from day to day to teach him right from wrong. And he's grown to be a fine young man. And he's always blessed her home. We pray thee, Lord, for guidance that he won't build upon the sand. But we won't worry half as much if we know he's in your hands. And oh yes, Lord, it won't be long till I'll be coming home. Don't make me wait too long. We pray thee, Lord, for guidance. Please cleanse us from our sins so we can all be together in heaven. In Jesus' name, amen. The table was silent as tears ran down my face. And from that day on, I based my life on Father's table of grace.
Thank you, Lester. That's fine, boy, I'll tell you for sure. And we're sorry that we ran out of the album called Flat on Victor that has that particular recitation in it. A lot of the folks have been asking for it, and we were up in Pennsylvania last week and ran out and didn't get a chance to get into more before we left Nashville. But we do have one of the albums here with us, our first one. It has a fine recitation in it called I Like to Have Papa Show Me Around, which is a real great one.
Requisite record pitch.
$4 in our stand is right over there. And for each one of the albums, you get a picture of Granny and Lester right there. Made it one of our Beverly Hillbilly shows in California. If you'd like to have it, it goes along with the album. But if you'd like to have it by itself, it's 50 cents. And then we have the RCA.
Anybody have one of those?
Flat and Mike Wise and Jimmy Brown, the Little Boy. And Will You Be Loving Another Man? It is just $1. Then we have the Lester Flat Songbook. It has a lot of pictures, stories, and illustration pages. And Uncle Josh has a diagram in the middle of the book. Teach you how to pick the dobro. He said tell you that right there. Then we have our Grand Ole Opry history picture book, along with it has a lot of these stories from the starting of the Grand Ole Opry to the present day. There's all 8 to 10 pictures of all the Grand Ole Opry stars. If you'd like to have it, it is $2. We'll be right over there at the stand in just 1 minute after we do this here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Let's call on Haskell here with the old 5, a little number that the folks ask for all the time. We did this for Bleed yesterday, but we've had a lot of requests for it. It's a little tune that's been real good to us down through the years and wound up being the theme song of Bonnie and Clyde. And this went real good all across the country. Hack to do it for him. It's called the Foggy Mountain Break.
Stop it to me, George.
Something there, you know.
Got some fired up fans down here in front.
I can't tell the boys from the girls. And friends really messing up my world. The old world on her bounce girl. And I can't tell the boys from the girls. I walked in a picture show and found
This poor little thing sit down in front of me. I leaned over and I asked her if she'd like some company. I nearly died when she turned out to be a he. Oh, I can't tell the boys from the girls. That friend is really dancing in my world. The old lone iron-bound school. And I can't tell the boys from the girls. I'm gonna leave the city and go home. I think I'll stay single from now on. I won't make the same mistake by coming here again, 'cause I can't tell the difference between the herds and him. Oh, I can't tell what's wrong. That friend is really messing up my world. Oh, we're long hair and gossip, and I can't tell what's from the girl. Oh no, I can't tell what's from the girl. All right, thank you very much. Hack, if you'll do a little picking here, we'll do another number that several of our little buddies have asked for here. One called Old Jed. Come and listen to my story about a man named Jed. Poor mountaineer, barely kept his family fed. Then one day he was shooting at some food. Up through the ground come a bubble in the pool. Oh, that is right good Texas fever. Well, the first thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. Ken folks said, Jed, move away from that. He said, California is the place you ought to be. So they loaded up the truck and they moved to Beverly. Swimming pool. Moving stone. John, here's where the time has come. Get out, yeah. Granny and me always has to do a little dance on this, and if you'll take my part, I'll see if I can do just a step or two of Granny's part. That sound all right to you? Oh, Lester, baby, how sweet it
Well,
I can't do it. Why don't they do a fantastic job of entertaining? We're going to call out. I'm sure they appreciate that. They do a wonderful, wonderful job. Right now, we're going to call out the Stone Mountain Boys from down in Garland, Texas, come out and play a few numbers right now. If they're ready. Stone Mountain Boys from Garland, Texas. Grapevine in Fort Worth, I think.
do you know anything about this band, Mike?
Stone Mountain Boys?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Mitch Land and
Right.
All right, thank you a whole lot. We're just filling in for a little while, kill a little time, so we'll play music. We'll play it today, I guess. This is what I titled the old chain gang. Now, honey dear, I know you're gonna have where I've been since the night. I've been down in the hammer flame. I've been down. They sent me up on a 2-year bid. I soon forgot what it was to be. They chained me down to the desert land. I can't believe I'm in your arms again. The old chain gang is a rough old crew. The boss is hard and the chili. He dragged me out to the jailhouse door and he laid me down at the tombstone floor. The boss was hard on the rough one day. I never seen where the crowbar lay. I drove her down and the rocks was straight and he said goodbye to the lonesome day. I hit the road, I clipped the brake. He was going fast, but he couldn't wait. I hit the floor, with an awful bang, but I said goodbye to the old chain gang. Now, honey dear, if you hit my trail, there's gonna land you back in jail. Let's kiss goodbye for a better day, and to go back to the old chain gang. All right, here's a banjo number here that I believe Jimmy Martin and somebody put this one out. It's called Sweet Dixie.
Is this somewhere down in Texas? They said you said.
Yeah, Garland, Texas.
Oh, Garland, Texas.
Were they from Oklahoma or?
All
I don't
right,
know where those
we'll
guys
try
are
one
from.
here called Two Life Blues, I think.
They might have been partners in that festival with Bill or something.
Byron Berline played drums.
I hate to see the sunset glow, just my clothes, you ought to know. Bring your love, I ain't gonna say, I'm not left alone, you'll soon You promised me that was true. I'm sorry to say, always laugh just like it'll be so sad. As you see the watch and how to clean, that's what you do. What seems to me, there's a million ways I can't explain. They got this girl for changing it. They'll go away and leave you home. They'll never care if you belong. They seem to forget they got a wife. This story's sad, but it's true love.
I don't know whether we ought to do Rawhide or not.
That's some
Oh,
fine,
go ahead and do it. What the hell?
fine mandolin playing there.
Yeah, he's great.
We'll just do
Bill
about
Slayton's great.
one more here, and then we'll get Mr. Monroe up here, I think. He's back.
Let's see if we can get Mike Cleveland on here to talk about Baker a little bit.
All right, we'll do one here entitled Can't You Hear Me Calling? We'll go out with this.
He didn't do Rawhide, so he's going to do Can't You Hear Me Calling?
The days are gone and the nights are gone. It is my life, call the door. How it is so, how it is so, since you've been gone. Sweetheart and mine, you hear me call. Coming in time, I love you best. I mistreated you, how can I sorry? Come back to me, it's my I remember now the night we parted, a big mistake that caused it all. If you come back, stay away from my phone. Sweetheart and mine, we can't go. Honey, in the night, I love you best. I mistreated you, honey, I'm sorry. Come back to me, it's my oh, how I miss you, little darling. Oh, how I miss your sweet embrace. When I was home, the sun was shining. When I looked up and saw your face. Sweetheart and I, did you hear me call? Come in, I love you best. I mistreated you, oh, I'm sorry. Come back to me, it's my way. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I got Michael Cleveland to join us here. This is a set of music with
Oh, sure. Oh,
Kenny Baker. Kenny Baker that probably hasn't been heard since this was recorded. I'm gonna try to get the technology here.
what's the source of these tapes? Are they on reel to reel, or somebody record them on a cassette player or something? Or
Seth, why don't you?
Okay, you're talking about my tape. So yeah, these are a collection I bought on eBay here a few years ago.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. And it spans from 1970 till about 1980 of bluegrass festivals in the Midwest. Usually,
some guys collection, the whole collection, huh?
Yeah, whole collection, and he documented everything. Like when I pull these reels out, the whole list is there with the bands, the songs, who played in the band,
wow.
the date. So this guy really enjoyed taping stuff and really thought out
the first time I ever went to McAllister, Oklahoma festival, which was a big one, Freddie Sanders Festival. I went there to see. We were there. The first time I saw Del McCurry was at that festival, but I have a tape of the festival because they had this big patch bay, and you could just plug your tape recorder in. They had all these tables lined up down past the soundboard, and all these guys were there with their big boom boxes, and they were all linked together out of the soundboard, and they recorded everything. Wow. A lot of those Midwest festivals, there was always somebody recording them.
Wow. Yeah.
Those guys would come up to the table and they go, "You guys are good. I'm going to tape your show."
I still like how this guy taped Lester Flatt, even though they said no taping.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That was
what I said. Roll tape.
Yeah, I think we got Bill Monroe and the Bluegrass Boys up next, John.
Yeah, and I got Michael Cleveland joining us to talk about Baker a little bit.
Awesome. Yeah, it looks like we're going to do some classic songs. They kick off, of course, with Mule Skinner Blues. Uncle Pen's in there, of course. And then the last part of this set is with everybody that was at the festival. So Red Smiley and Bill Monroe doing a duet. Carl Story,
Wow.
Bill Monroe. It goes on pretty good. Jerry McCurry and Bill Monroe do a duet. So.
Oh wow.
You're gonna hear some cool stuff.
Yeah, and
You know, both Del and Jerry played with Don Reno at one time together.
I didn't know that. Wow.
I don't know if there's any. You might find that on some of those tapes around that same era, I guess.
Yeah, maybe so. I'm finding new stuff in these tapes all the time. There's 200 tapes, reel to reels all together. So.
Wow. Sounds like they've held up pretty good and not too bad.
Yeah, they're in decent shape, and I've tried to. The time I've had them, I've tried to keep them in a humidity-controlled room and out of any harm. So.
Yeah. Well, it's good you're playing them. That keeps them from getting too sticky.
Yeah, that's right. And if we play them now, you know, the better the sound is, because the more you play them, the worse they get.
Yeah. Well, I hope you're making a CD of this while you're doing them, unless you've already digitized them.
Some of this stuff I have. I don't think I've digitized this one. I was almost afraid to pull up GarageBand or Pro Tools just because I was afraid it'd slow down the process, the live.
Yeah.
Stream. But it will get digitized. That's the plan with all this stuff.
Man, I got bins full of cassettes I need to get digitized.
Oh yeah.
I used to record everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I got a bunch of them too. It's time consuming, you know. You have to kind of.
Well, and when you've got 200 like this, it's so hard to get around to all of them.
It's real time. It's real time. You know, you can't do it faster. You know, sped up in any way. It has to be.
Exactly.
Vince Gill told me he hired a guy to digitize his entire archive of tapes.
Wow.
You know, this is going back like 45 years of music. You know, all of his recordings and cassettes and LPs, everything. He recorded everything, digitized everything.
Unbelievable.
So that must be nice to be able to afford to hire somebody to do that.
Yeah.
If I had the money, I would.
It'd take years, you know.
Well, this guy, the way he recorded these reel-to-reels, you've got one track on the left side, one on the right side, so he didn't record in stereo.
Oh, he saved tape that way, yeah.
Yeah. And so you add times that by 200 reels and think of all the music you got.
Wow. And lugging the reel-to-reel machine around. Jeez.
Shoo. Any word on Mike Cleveland joining us, Jan?
Yeah, just
Just got to push the right button there.
no, I think
I was listening to that Jimmy Martin show that Jan put up the other day from Sunset Park.
Oh, man.
And I was thinking about that guy, Leon Cagarese. Do you know about him? He's the guy that made all the recordings at Sunset Park. And he was a TV repair guy. And he had always the best equipment. He had a electric voice microphone, and he would put it right in front of the vocal microphone on stage. And he recorded all those shows at Sunset Park.
Wow.
And a lot of that, he's the source of a lot of that stuff that you hear from there. And the other one, the other park up there, I can't remember the name of it. They made a book of his pictures, his photographs, and there's a picture of George Jones on the cover. It's just a great picture of Jones from the early 60s.
Well, I haven't seen.
But he had a huge archive, too. Live tapes. He had... Did we get him?
No.
I don't see him.
No, I don't see him either. I sent him the link, you know.
I think it takes a minute to register with this program, StreamYard, too, so he may be going through that process.
I had to copy the link and then put it in the browser, in the browser, because I don't have an app for this particular, whatever this thing is.
It's, StreamYard. Why don't we...
StreamYard, yeah.
Why don't we just kick off a little bit of music, and when Mike can join us, we will just take a little break, and he's got some good baker stories.
Sounds great. Well, we're going to have to switch the tape about 9 or 10 songs in because it ends. And
Before the finale.
yeah. Well, it's right in the middle of the finale, it looks like. So we'll see what happens.
So can you tell us the lineup of the band here? And
so it says Kenny Baker on the fiddle, Jack Hicks on the banjo, Joe Stewart on guitar. Bass player is not listed on here.
Naturally.
I guess we'll find that out in a minute.
And Kenny Baker.
Yeah, Kenny Baker definitely on the fiddle. So we're gonna hear some good stuff.
I hope there is a bass player.
Oh, there'll be a bass player.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're gonna roll.
Those boys do a real good job, don't they? Real good. Right now, we're going to call out the granddaddy of this bluegrass music, the daddy of it, rather. Mr. Bill Monroe, Bluegrass Boys. Let's give him a real Texas welcome, okay?
All right, it's good to be back for the last show here now this evening. And here's a number that I hope you remember.
Good morning, Captain. Good morning. Do you need another new dinner? How did you look? Working on the railroad. My darling head will be high and high. My little woman down every Saturday night. You don't mind me. Hey, you little water boy, won't you bring that water around? If you don't like your job, take your water buggy.
Mike for Cleveland, how you doing?
We had a lot of requests for that number there. The Mule Skinner Blues want to do that especially for Joe Spence from Monroe, Louisiana. Joe, we're glad to have you. All right, now, I'd like to move along here and take some.
Hey, Mike, can you hear us?
Figured I'd pause for the calls since Mike joined us.
Yeah.
Come on in there, Michael Cleveland.
Hello?
There he
Hey,
is.
Mike, can you hear us?
Yeah, man. You got me?
Yep. Good to have you here.
Hey, Mike.
What's up, Seth? What y'all doing?
Not much, man.
we're gonna listen to some. Well, why don't you tell Mike
Caught
about
the end of Mule Skinner there.
Yeah, yeah. So Seth, why don't you tell Mike right quick what we're
Can you
listening?
hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Mike.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we got you. I think Jan wanted me to mention to you what we're listening to here. So this is a Sunday set with Bill Monroe and the Bluegrass Boys at his first festival in McKinney, Texas. And,
Yeah, man.
of course, got Kenny Baker on the fiddle, Jack Hicks on the banjo, Joe Stewart on the guitar, and an unnamed bass player. We're getting ready to find that out, I hope.
I think it was a pickup bass player because it sounded like a wash tub up there. That's the ultimate test for the bass player is Mule Skinner Blues with Monroe. If you've never played it, you turn the beat around a bunch.
Yeah. Did you
have a hat? You got to know Mule Skinner.
Yeah. So that's right.
Yes, sir, I do. That'd be fun.
Yeah. So what's coming up next here?
So
Yeah,
we got
Baker
some
sounded
good ones coming up here. Got Footprints in the Snow. You'll find her name written there.
Ooh, good one.
Then got Sally Gooden, Sitting on Top of the World, Bluegrass Breakdown, Uncle Pen, and then we start in the finale, and their first guest is Red Smiley singing a duet with Bill Monroe.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Is this one of those bluegrass story type things? I know it's not Carlton's festival, but
so the way I understand it, this festival was Bill Monroe's answer to Carlton Stories. Carlton Haney's, I can't even talk tonight, Carlton Haney's festival in Camp Springs because it happened the same weekend. A little bit of competition going on here between Bill Monroe and Carlton Haney.
Yeah.
Huh.
This is Labor Day weekend of 1971. But anyways, let's hear the next few songs.
It takes care of some of the requests as we go along. Let's see here. Anybody like to call out a number or so? Now, don't
Footprints in the Snow.
Take it easy. What is it?
Take it easy, he said.
Oh, I do. It's got to be plain. I can't hear it because I don't hear it so good anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Like the summertime and they can walk about, strolling through the meadow greenest, and there's no doubt. But it is the wintertime when the snow's on the ground, but I found it when the snow lay down on the ground. I traced a little footprints in the snow. I found a little footprints in the snow.
You really hear Bruce.
Many lost to wait, but I found it when the snow lay down on the ground. I dropped in to see her. There was a big round moon. Her mother said she just stepped out, but if you return and soon. I found her little footprints and I traced them through the snow, and I found her when the snow lit on the ground. I traced the little footprints in the snow. I found her footprints in the snow. A happy day that many lost to away, but I found her when the snow lit on the ground. Now she's up in heaven, she's with the angel band. I know I'm going to meet her in that promised land. Every time the snow falls and rain threatens with me, but I found her when the snow lay on the ground. I traced a little footprint in the snow. I found a footprint in the snow. I blessed and a happy day, hanging on through the way. But I found her in the snow. It don't
Dang.
That's funny.
We used to sing that quite a bit.
What do you say? We used to sing that quite a bit. I don't think you ever quit singing it.
All right, let's see here now. We had a request for the little girl and the dreadful snake, and we had a request for Virginia Darling, and what else over here? Low note. You'll find a name written there. Now, I had a lot of requests from last night on that, so we better do that right now, Kenny. You'll find a name written there.
If it's G right there.
No more, she was her face like a beautiful. But all at the marble stone, you'll find her name written there. Just a call of faith, let me in a deep despair. But if you wait at the pearly gate, you'll find a name written there. When you were strange, where the angels sang you, a voice so pure and so fair. But if you look in the heavenly bosom, you'll find her name written there.
Modulate.
Take it upstairs.
What we came to the earth, it's cold and I know not where. But if you look to the heart of a friend, you'll find her name written there. You'll find her name written there. All right, we're going to call on Kenny. You want to fiddle one right now?
No. Hell no.
How you like to fiddle? Sally Gooden. All right, that's a fine fiddle number and one of my favorite.
One of my favorite.
All right, that's taking care of some requests right there. That's a good one. That's a fine fiddle number. All right, now we want to call on Jack Hicks to come around this way here. Joe Stewart has had trouble with keeping some of his strings on his guitar there. He don't pay much for his strings, and I guess that's what's wrong. He's a black diamond or black cat, one or the other that he uses. I don't know. I'm not sure which. Welcome back. All right. Let's do that number entitled Sitting on Top of the World. It's a new number. Was in the spring, one sunny day, I can help that me, she's gone away. Where she's gone, and I don't know. Well, I'm sitting on top of the world. She called me down there to the old man road. Said, come on down here, Lord, I need you so. And now she's gone and I don't love you. But I'm sitting on top of the world. The Mississippi River, I'm keeping wide. There were no lovers on the other side. And now she's gone, and I don't know. I'm sitting on top of the world. Don't you come around, putting out your hand, hopping
about your way. She's gone out of me, and I'm sitting on top of the world. All right, now we want to call on Jack Hicks for our little banjo number here called the Bluegrass Breakdown. I believe he's got in full swing today and got a lot of power. Takes some power to play this number here. You have to really drive it.
Some power.
Really drive it.
Yes.
We've had a lot of requests for rawhide, so we're going to save that till everybody comes out on the stage here and let them help out with it. Don Reno's going to take a break on it, and all the people. Jesse McReynolds is going to carry our course on it. We're going to let him carry the most of it. A request for Uncle Pen. All right. Oh, the people would come from far and away to dance all night till the break of day. When the caller hollered, do-si-do, you knew Uncle Pen was ready to go. Singing the buttons and pounding Uncle Pen said to the Lord, how the rain had come. Played an old piece called Soldier Joy, and when it goes roasting, going to break into all what Jenny Lynn, and that's where sitting again. Ringing in the bathroom and how would ring you had something here. Oh, never forget that morning day when Uncle Pin was called away. To hang up his fiddle, to hang up his bone, and knew it was time for him to go. Ringing in the bathroom and how would ring you had something. All right, now, I hope that you've enjoyed my part of the show here this evening. It's a time now. Thank you. And
time for the gang
it's time
twang.
that
Bring
we
them
start
out.
calling some of the entertainers out that's been on the festival here. People like James Monroe. We're glad to have all the people that's working on the festival here. Lester Platt, Jim and Jesse, Carl Story, Don Reno, Bill Harrell, Red Smiley, that drove a long ways from up around Washington, D.C. down here. And as soon as they get around here, we're going to start calling them on and testing them all out. I'll be right back with you.
Testing them all out.
Bring us some new meat, boy. Right here's the great man coming out right now, Red Smiley. Give him a hand. What'd he say? The number that we always sing is entitled "Love Come Home," and it's really wonderful to sing it with Red because he really leads it mighty nice. As you read this letter that I write to you, sweetheart, I hope you understand that you're the only love I knew. Oh, please forgive me if you can. Sweetheart, I beg you to come home tonight. I'm so glad all alone. I promise that I'll be right. Love will be come home. But the wind is cold and slowly creeping around, and the fire is burning low. The snow has covered up the ground. Your baby's hungry, sick and cold. Sweetheart, I beg you to come home tonight. I'm so glad all alone. I promise that I'll treat you right. Love will be come home. Sweetheart, I beg you to come home tonight. I'm so glad all alone. I promise that I'll treat you right. Love, please come home.
Thank you. Thank you, Bill.
Really fine. Red Smiley, a wonderful entertainer. We're really glad to have him here. All right, let's see here. Now, I want to call on Carl Story. He's standing there in the door, ready to come on out. Carl, make your way out
Get ready
here.
for some high tenor
let's
singing.
pick out a good number for the folks today.
Who said that? Did you ain't no spring chicken, I'll tell you. Here's the one we did last night, and this is an old timer. This one. Hey, I sung this with Bill, and I used to play this many years ago with him when we had no locker with him. One of his own tunes called "The True Life Blues."
Carl Story there, another great entertainer.
I think that was Joe Stewart playing the other fiddle.
Somebody take a look and see who's next back there, Carl. James Monroe is headed
What's
out
that,
this way.
You think that was Joe Stewart playing the other fiddle?
He's got his own group now, the Midnight Ramblers, and I wish him the best. I've got to stay behind him and see and then works for you.
Carl played fiddle with Monica, but that was way back, and I don't think you. I'm sure.
Oh, fine. This is a mighty pretty number right here, and this will be James Monroe's next release. It's entitled "Tall Pine."
I'll never forget the morning I left, the hum of the bees in the hay, the farther I walk, the harder they talk, how silent it seems here today. There's that old rail fence we built in spite, surrounding the old family grave. And there's one glass stone standing all alone. They're waiting to join me in the shade. Tall pine, tall pine, reaching up for the fire. Tall pine, tall pine, I'll take you with me.
I'll never forget. That's the same verse I sung a while ago.
Oops. Is that James?
I haven't sung it since I recorded and I can't remember how it goes.
Oh God.
You never
It's
changed.
like the same verse again.
I bet they heard about that later.
Forget the morning I left, the hum of the bees in the hay. The farther I walk, the harder they come. How silent it seems here today. There's that old railroad we built in time, surrounding the old family grave. And there's one gray stone standing all alone. They're waiting to join me in the shade. Tall pine, reaching up for the clouds. Tall pine, tall.
So that's it.
Real change.
Yeah, real change. Mike, do you remember the first time you met Kenny Baker?
Yeah, so I guess that was Joe Stewart on the other fiddle.
Yeah, Carl Story must have come out and played guitar,
Yeah,
and he switched to fiddle.
it's pretty cool, man. Cool to hear Baker play Sally Gooden. You didn't hear him play that too much.
Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah. Hey, Mike, can you hear me? I don't think Mike can hear me at all.
Michael Cleveland, can you hear Jan?
Cleveland.
No, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can't.
I thought
Yeah,
he was
I
going to
can't
give
hear
me the
anybody else.
cold shoulder tonight.
Just you and me, man.
He was asking if you remember when you first met Kenny Baker.
Oh yeah, man. I met Baker, I think, when I was about 15, 16 years old at Bean Blossom.
Mm-hmm.
And I always heard Baker never smiled. And I asked a friend of mine who introduced us, and he I said, "Man, that Kenny Baker, I heard he never smiled." And he said, "Oh man, I don't know about that. You know, he smiles quite a bit. You know." So as soon as I was introduced to him, I guess he had told Baker that, and so he busted me right off. Yeah, you're that boy that said I never smiled. And hey, get out your fiddle, play one.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing I heard was that if you that you played for Kenny Baker, and he would tell you whether you were going to be a fiddle player or not.
Mm-hmm.
So no pressure.
That's right. Yeah.
But it was really cool. We played a little bit. Me and my buddy Brian Allen played guitar, and we stood over there by the car, and Baker and Josh sat in the back seat and drank beer while we played.
Yeah.
Like we'd finish the song, and then you'd hear a beer can hit the floor. By hell, that's pretty good there.
Yeah.
Josh used to drink his beer warm. He always keep it next to the refrigerator instead of in the refrigerator.
Oh my God.
And one time I was at a festival, we saw Josh and Kenny leaving, so we went over, said goodbye to them. They were leaving in a van or something. And we leaned in the window, and I said, Josh, where are you keeping that beer in here? I know you got some beer in here somewhere. He goes, Mike, it's a terrible thing. He said, me and Baker both had to quit. He said, Miller's lost 3 drivers, and Budweiser's just about gone out of business.
Wow.
That's great.
Yeah.
man.
And then he said, "Now you boys, the funeral parlor called. They want those suits back by Saturday."
Yes.
Man. Yeah.
Those guys were something else. They were what a team they were.
Oh man.
Yeah.
My buddy Brian that I mentioned earlier, he went out with Kenny. It was right. Josh wasn't on that trip. He ended up getting Alan Phelps from here around Louisville to fill in for Josh, and they needed a guitar player, so my buddy Brian went, and he said they would pull into Cracker Barrel or something to get something to eat, and Baker wouldn't eat breakfast, but he would they would come out of Cracker Barrel and Baker'd be there on the bus, and they'd be driving a little bit, and then Baker would say, "Well, I guess it's time to drink my breakfast."
That's awesome, Mike.
And
My
played
buddy,
great, still played. I mean, it didn't matter. He could just play.
my buddy Kevin Sluter here in Weaverville, North Carolina, told me a good story about Kenny and Josh one time. Said pulled up to one of these festivals where they put the wristband on you. Said they were going to give one to Kenny, and he said, "Don't give me one. That's for the people that pay to be here."
There's a lady down in Texas at a festival in what was that little town down there? Anyway, she told Sonny Osborne he had to put a wristband on, and he said, do you honestly think nobody knows who I am here?
That's awesome.
That's pretty polite for Sonny back then, probably.
Well, it may have been a little more colorful. I don't know,
Well,
The one about Kenny was more colorful, I'll tell you that.
yeah, you know it.
Well, I don't seem to be
Pretty awesome stuff, Seth. Thanks for sharing this with all of us.
You're welcome. There's more to come. I've, like I was telling Mike and Jan earlier, got 200 of these reel-to-reels and all kinds of stuff like this. And I had sent you some at some point and kind of shared it with folks that had showed interest. And I think I'd sent you one with the workshop with Keith,
Yeah,
the guitar
yeah.
workshop, and Kenny Baker and all those guys.
Man.
So we'll get into more of that stuff, and then there's some other cool stuff. Like there's a Stanley Brothers show from the '60s sometime at a car dealership in Maryland that this guy had.
Oh, is that Johnny's Used Cars? Is that like Ray Davis?
Yeah,
those are
the thing?
Ray Davis radio shows. The Walking Man's Best Friend, Johnny's Used Cars.
Yes, that's some great stuff there. George Shuffler singing a lot of lead.
Yeah. Some of that stuff was made into an album, but the stuff that I had, I couldn't find it anywhere, so it's pretty neat. We'll play that one Thursday night.
Yeah, Ray used to put those out on the Wango label, was his label. They're really hard to find. They're very rare albums. And then later on, he made CDs that he'd use for fundraisers for WAMU for his show.
Wow.
That was great stuff on those CDs, too. It had
those basement tapes, he called them.
Yeah, it would have the Stanley Brothers, and then it would have some other band. They had a put together band with James King and Danny Paisley and John Glick and TJ.
Wow.
I think TJ maybe was playing mandolin, and it was really good. And the Gillis brothers.
Who's that banjo player? Lloyd used to play with Jim and Jesse.
Yeah, Lloyd Douglas is on there.
Lloyd Douglas, great banjo player, man. He was great player.
Yeah, played a lot of guitar on that stuff. Him and Scott Brannon and David Davis. And Lloyd played guitar on a bunch of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Speaking of Jim and Jesse, that's actually who's coming up next with Bill Monroe, according to the papers I've got. So we'll get to hear them in a second.
All right.
Awesome.
So speaking of John Glick, tell Mike that Michael Cleveland, that is.
To test them out.
I found the a live recording of Dell with John Glick from like '85 or something like that.
Wow. So you found a live recording?
Yeah, but you might want to tell Mike. He had asked me in the text some time ago if
you had anything like that. Yeah, Jan's saying that he said he found recently a live Dell with John Glick. He's going to try to get up or get to you.
Really? Wow, that's pretty cool. That was a great band with Glick and Paul and
yeah, Sawmill, that album.
Yeah, man.
Well, I think we're probably ready to play some more of this stuff. Looks like we got 6 songs left on the set list, and we'll see what we got here.
Is this a whole set with Jim and Jesse?
No, it's just one song with Jim and Jesse. Then after that's Goin' Brothers and Bill Monroe, and Roland White and Bill Monroe, Bill Harrell and Bill Monroe, Jerry McCurry and Bill Monroe, Lester Flatt and Bill Monroe, and then you got Bill Monroe and the entire group.
And then Bill Monroe and Bill Monroe.
Yeah, Bill Monroe.
Hold of the buck, stiff of the horn.
I liked it when James forgot the words and Bill often said, "No excuses, boy."
Oh man. Yeah, I'm sure that was talked about on the way home.
You know it, man. All right, here we go.
We just have to pick one over here and there, you know, that we all might know the words to. This one called "I Wonder Who You Are Tonight."
Tonight I'm glad my heart is ready. Wondering if I'm not dream about the world you know. I wonder where you are what bring the birds of sweetly singing? The flowers blossoming on green. No love is ever worth so happy. No love is ever so
Hadn't heard that verse before.
Then came the dawn, the day you left. I tried to follow but you became the same with me. That's always in my heart tonight. The day goes so far. That's all I'm nothing. I want to say But I go so far, but all I'm walking behind, and I wanna go
Thank you, Jimmy Dexter. Thank you a lot. Jim, see who else is back there. The Goins brothers from West Virginia. Come on out here, fellas. Give the Goins brothers a hand. Hard workers in bluegrass music.
Hard workers.
my money, but you know, but you know, my money, but you know, I'm on my own.
If you enjoyed this, now give them a hand. Don't sit out there like that. Make them feel like you want to play it again.
Said the man who hated Dobro.
Right. Out in the east and the sky rainbows, the sky rainbows. Out in the east and the sky rainbows, and I'm on my lonely home.
Yeah.
Coming down the line, baby, coming down the line. They can see my Johnny coming down the line, and I'm on my lonely home. I go to my like the fire when it should everything, like the fire when it should everything, and I'm on my lonely home. I'm on my money, but it's
Thank you a lot. All right, now the next man back there.
I said,
all right, we want to call on Roland White. He's coming out this way. Come on, Roland.
Chi-Chi, little Chi-Chi.
Roland, come around this way. Roland used to work with me on the Grand Ole Opry, and travel with us a long time. What have you got in mind, Roy? What? We're going to try about a verse of this song here. It's entitled
About a verse.
Time.
I know it's nothing but a calling. I hear your love all the time. Lord, say he ain't up for my darling. And take her to their home. I'll wait my time here on earth. Come to you when I die.
Roland, check for him back there and see who's the next man. Bill Harrell is back there ready. Give Bill Harrell a hand. If he worked with Don Reno and Red Smile and all the good. Give him a hand here today. Come on, don't stay out there. Now let's do Sweetheart You Done Me Wrong.
You told me that your love was good. Sweetheart, I thought the world. Now you left me all alone. I have no one to call my own. Now, sweetheart, you got
kisses and to travel on you without you.
Yeah.
I keep praying all the time. Sweetheart, when you will change your mind. Now it's be hard without you. Baby, sweetheart, when you
Yeah.
I never shall forget the day you said you were going. I couldn't believe that it was true. After all the love I had for you, now be hard without you. I gotta say something. Thank you. A long, long time ago, I always dreamed to sing a duet with Bill Monroe, and it's a great pleasure to me. Thank you so much, Bill Monroe.
Good to have you here, Bill. Now for one of the greatest banjo pickers in the whole world here. Don Reno, give him a hand here. What do you say?
Bill, I didn't, I'm going to wait a minute to play banjo if you don't mind. All right. I tell you, we got a little bass player that works with us that respects you, I guess, as much as he does his own father. And we're proud of this because we do too. And he asked me a while ago, he said, I want to sing with Bill Monroe. Yeah. Little Roho, you know.
Yes, sir. He's a good singer.
And I
Little
told him, I
Roho.
said, Roho, oh, he done got a guitar. He's faster than I am. And we appreciate the fact that any of the fellows that work with us or with Bill or anybody else, we can mingle around and sing together, play together, and just have a ball. So here's Roho and Bill Monroe. Roll back.
Roho and Bill
I'm going to the East Cape Road. I'm going to the East Cape Road. I'm going to the East, I'm going to the West. Going to see the girls I'm up there. Go on, baby, go on, baby, go on. You know the God, you gotta know. Go on, baby, go My home is down in Tennessee. My home is down in Tennessee. My home in Tennessee is where I'm way down in Tennessee. Go on, baby, go on, baby. You know the God, you gotta know. Go on, I've got a woman
I'm not a good woman, just a woman, just a thing, I'm not a good woman, just oh, baby,
Is that Jerry McCurry?
Yeah, it's Jerry singing.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Rojo.
Jerry. That's mighty
Yeah.
fine, man. Enjoyed singing with you. Jerry's brother worked with me on the Grand Ole Opry and recorded and traveled with me. Dale McCurry, and he's a wonderful singer.
Dale.
All right, Don Reno, you got anything to say?
Yeah, I've had such a good time. I don't know what much else to say. I think that
Go home now.
I do too. I always hate to go home after these festivals. And Bill, I know you feel like I do. You'd like to express many thanks to the folks that have supported us on this first Texas festival.
Donna, I want to say it's really a pleasure to be out here. We was booked, in Garland, Texas, and we advertised for a long time there. And then the people over there, they decided they didn't want no Bluegrass Festival, so we had to move. And we'd spent a lot of money on our advertising over there. And I know there's been people that's gone over there and they didn't know where we was at, They didn't know where the festival was at. But next year we'll be back in Texas for our festival. We'll have a year to advertise it. We'll let you know where it's going to be. We'll have a good place. It might be right back here. But anyhow, all of our friends throughout the country is going to know about it when we come back out here next year. But it's good to bring this kind of a show out here. This is a wonderful show, and it's good to have them here, good to be working with them. And I do hope that you folks have enjoyed the Bluegrass Festival since we've been here.
Thank you, Bill. Bill, like myself, thinks that we've brought the best talent that money could buy out here to you folks. The kind of men that are glad to get around and shake hands and talk with you, get to know you better. We feel like that you should know us better, and we should know you better. We feel like these festivals are drawing people closer together, are bringing people back down to earth to walk on both feet like we're supposed to walk, with no highfalutin ideas or people mixed up in the business. And I think people should start walking just a step slower than they are today. I know if I keep up the pace I've started, I ain't gonna last too long. And this gives us all an opportunity to get to know each other better and feel the friendship that I think Americans should feel toward each other. You are on one side and we're on the other. Without you, there wouldn't be no use for us to be up here. And if we wasn't on the stage to entertain for you, I'm sure you wouldn't sit out there to watch the stage. So you're just as important to these festivals as we are, I believe you may. So let's give the crowd a big hand, fellas. What do you say?
All right, now, thank you, Don. We want to move right along here. We have a great man back here that's been on the festival here with us. And he was about the third man to ever sing with me on the Grand Ole Opry and recorded with me back in the early days of Bluegrass and really helped make the Bluegrass music grow. And he's got a lot of friends throughout the country. Lester Flatt, make him welcome here today. What do you say?
All right.
Must have been after Bean Blossom.
All right, thank you, Bill. It's a real pleasure to get to do a number with you. And if it's all right with you, we'll do about one of the first ones that we ever recorded together, and about the year of A, entitled "Will You Be Loving Another Man?" All right, give him a hand. I've done some crimes. And before I was then you let me
This thing's still working here. Can you hear it? Okay, all right. We've turned it so many times here, we had it back. It's good to have Lester Platt here, and I do hope that you've enjoyed the number there that Lester and me sung for you. Now, it's getting close to the time, friends. I've enjoyed the trip out here. I've told you many times I've enjoyed it, and I know that the boys have worked hard since they've been here, and a lot of people have drove a long way, and we hope you've enjoyed every bit of it. We have one more number for you, and it's the number that's been played more in the Grand Ole Opry than any number. We hope you will enjoy it here today. Take care of yourself, and don't forget to be planning on another big festival here in the state of Texas next year with the Bluegrass Boys. This number is entitled John Henry, the Steel Driving Man. John Henry was old cold affair. He'd hung him on the palm of your hand. And his papa cut off his own farewell. I'm gonna be a steel driving man, Lord, Lord. I'm gonna be a steel driving man. John Henry upon the mountain, look down on the other side. And on the mountain was the tall John and watched the slowly. Lay down and hammer and he cried, Lord, Lord. Lay down and hammer and he cried. Good music in the world, like bluegrass music. It's meant for you people, and these guys are playing it hard for you. Talk about and hit me over my chair, you please. Tell me what you can. I never was born in the United States. Let us say to you, driving man, Lord, Lord. Let us say to you, driving man. Talk about and hit me as much as you please. Tell me what you can. I never was born in the United States. Let us say to you, driving man, Lord, Lord. Let us say to you, driving man. John Henry told his captain, I want to go to bed. Pick me a pair of overlay down, got money rolling into my head, Lord, Lord, money rolling into my head.
Thank you.
Well, Seth.
Okay, I think that concludes the Bill Monroe Festival from Texas there.
Whew, I'm worn out.
Yeah. Well, Mike, thank you so much for being with us, and to Mike Cleveland too. Although he can't hear me, I'm kind of disappointed I didn't get to talk to him. But
Yeah, I don't know why that is. For some reason now, you still can't hear Jan.
No, I don't know
Okay.
why. I hear you and Seth fine.
Well, he said thanks for joining us.
Oh, well, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah.
This is
we'll do
killer
it.
stuff, and I really appreciate what you guys do for preserving this live music and posting it.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff that I've never seen before, and that's really cool to get to hear the stuff.
Yeah, and would both of you want to come back again and do another show for the people?
Yeah, I'd love to come back on sometime.
Good.
I'm sure Mike would too. We don't really have much going on right now.
Yeah, man.
Well, we're gonna be here every Thursday night, and
you do it every Thursday. Cool.
Every Thursday at 8:00. I don't know what we're gonna play next week. I've got to go through that big collection and see what we need to play next week. So we'll figure that out.
Can you show the people some of the festivals of the artists you got on your tapes there?
You mean like pictures or?
No, just like just read off of those tapes, the covers.
Yeah, we'll try to post that on Facebook. I'm not in my room where all my reels are at, but just off the top of my head, a lot of it's Hugo, Oklahoma, Bill Grant's festival.
Mm-hmm.
Got some more festivals from Texas, Heber Springs, Arkansas. A lot of that stuff has the Osborne brothers on it from about 1974. So we'll be getting into a lot of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good thing.
Fantastic.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Where's that one Osborne Brothers show you gave to my buddy Cody, where Sonny's playing all like really crazy stuff?
Yeah, man, I think that is a Heber Springs, Arkansas show. We'll try to dig that one up sometime.
That's killer. Bobby plays fiddle on there.
I remember that. That's cool. I've got one.
All right, fellas. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
thank you. Come back, Mike. Take care of yourself.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.
One of the I was just going to mention real quick before I got off. One of the coolest things I've got is Jim and Jesse with Doug Jernigan playing the steel.
Oh man!
At one of these festivals, so we'll try to dig that up too.
Yeah.
I just saw last time we played the opera, Jesse was on there, and he actually had Doug playing with him.
Oh man, that's cool.
Yeah, Doug came out and played. I think they played Orange Blossom Special.
That's neat.
Doug played it on the steel, played the crap out of it.
Wow. Well, I know on this recording he played Black Mountain Rag as an instrumental. Man, it was killer. But man, all those guys from that time, just amazing music.
Yeah.
Well, Jan, do you have anything else we need to add before we sign off?
No, I think really there's nothing of substance to add to this. So we're going to just say goodnight and thank you everybody who tuned in. We've had a lot of interesting comments and a lot of encouraging.
Yeah, for sure. And make sure everybody tunes in again next Thursday night at 8:00. Mike, if you're free, just come on, join us, and have a big time.
Yeah, tell Mike I'm going to
awesome. Man, glad you guys are playing this stuff.
I'm sorry. Just tell them we want to hear some Baker stories.
Yeah, Jan said, Mike, that we want to hear some more Baker stories next time too.
I don't have a whole lot, you know. I was only around him just a little bit, but yeah, I know y'all got a bunch of them for sure.
Yeah,
I've got some secondhand ones because you know, Ralph Lewis, he just lived not too far from me. I used to hear a lot of Kenny Baker stories from him, but
not bad.
Yeah,
sadly forgotten a lot of those. Need to write that stuff down.
Were you the one that well, I think it's on Jan's channel, that jam session with Ralph and Kenny and Monroe and
that came from a friend of mine in Asheville. They were jamming at a hotel in Shelby, North Carolina. I guess they were down there for a festival.
That's really cool stuff there.
One we need to play too for the folks. I've got Tom McKinney's house. He had a jam at his house in the late '60s, and Ralph was there, and Bill Monroe, Kenny Baker.
Oh, wow.
And about 1967, I believe.
Dang.
So, a lot to go through. Hopefully, we'll be able to get it all out there and have a listen to everything.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to say good night, and then we'll see you again in in exactly a week.
Yeah, same time, same station.
Okay, good night, fellas.
Good night, Jan. Good night, Mike.
Yeah, man. Thank you all for having me.
We'll see you later.
All right.